Hello to you all. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Wyatt, and I'm delighted to be speaking with all of you, incredible, strong cybersecurity professionals. And I have an invitation to make for all of you. What if we treated ourselves kindly and with love, unconditionally, as we would a friend, despite their imperfections or mistakes? Self-compassion, it's one essential skill that we must leverage at all stages of our careers to keep growing and learning and to live a healthier life. So over the next 10 to 15 minutes, I want to talk with you about the force of self-compassion, how it's helped me grow, and how to practice it. I think that having self-compassion is an essential skill as professional women report high rates of burnout. And we all need recovery time. And if we don't prioritize our well-being and being our own best friend, no one will do it for us. So what is self-compassion? Self-compassion is each of us caring for ourselves when faced with complex challenges or unrealistic expectations placed on us. And during this process, we're kind. We're not self-critical or overly judgmental. And during this process, it's not merely us thinking positively, but rather accepting that any potential positive or negative thoughts are part of our transformation. In other words, self-compassion can help us manage adversity, build resilience, and embrace challenges, enabling us to flourish. For example, previously I spent 4 years at the Wall Street Journal's professional arm, WSJ Pro, helping build out the product and writing cybersecurity insights for a senior executive audience. I had no roadmap. English is my second language. I'm a first-generation college graduate and a daughter of dairy farmers from a rural region in Brazil. But I was determined to keep growing and learning from some of the best writers. I love writing. The writing process for a writer is all-consuming. We often can't think about anything else once a draft is on the page. And a WSJ editor and journalist and mentor said to me that I take criticism very well, which isn't typical, and I'm very enthusiastic about it. So working with WSJ editors with decades of experience and having them dissect my writing was humbling, rewarding, and I thrived, and I experienced every challenge with a great attitude, and I embraced challenges. But growing as a writer required me to find ways to learn what isn't working, and I'm sure you experienced that in your career, where you need to find out what is working, what isn't working. And I'm sure that you've had experiences where you didn't have things all figured out. But sometimes we don't have things all figured out. And I encourage you to challenge cultures and habits that say that you must be hard on yourself to grow and to achieve anything good. We don't have to treat ourselves unkindly to grow. So here's the bottom line. Self-compassion supercharged my enthusiasm to get the writing down on a page, to try new things. And that's because self-compassion enabled me and can enable you to let go of paralyzing perfectionism, leaving space for experimentation, human vulnerability, or making mistakes, allowing us to move on faster from setbacks. Research also backs this up, suggesting a link between self-compassion and higher well-being. People who practice being self-kind typically have high self-esteem, meaning that they have positive feelings about themselves. Research also suggests that self-compassion can help us with motivation, and confidence so that we can push the boundaries of what is possible while embracing any challenges. So there are 3 elements of self-compassion according to self-compassion pioneer and psychologist Dr. Kristen Nelf. And I'm going to briefly talk about these, and I'll encourage you to go on her site and check them out. The first one is self-kindness versus self-judgment. We must be gentle with ourselves when faced with painful experiences rather than getting angry when things fall short. The second thing is common humanity versus isolation. When we get frustrated in our careers, we can reframe our thoughts that we are not alone and that suffering is part of a collective human shared experience, meaning that being human and imperfect is okay. The third one is mindfulness versus over-identification. We cannot ignore pain and feel confident and self-compassionate at the same time, according to Dr. Kristen Nelf. So being mindful and not judgmental when we face challenges and not trying to control negative thoughts is really important. So how do we practice self-compassion? We've talked a lot about how it's good for our mental wellness and how it helps us embrace challenges. And I have 3 simple steps that you can build into your routine that will help you be more self-compassionate. And this is not an exhaustive list by any means. And the first one is forgive yourself often and let it go. Embracing failure takes practice because it can happen at all stages of our career. But failing doesn't have to crush our confidence. Instead, we can use it as fuel to keep going because doing anything worthwhile requires being brave when facing setbacks. Self-compassion can also help us develop a growth mindset and embrace challenges as part of life. We must avoid the trap that any failures at work reflect poorly on us as people. Take a step back and realize that work is just one aspect of our life. It's not our life. So treating ourselves kindly can help us reset our perspective. So self-compassion emphasizes that being imperfect and making mistakes is part of life. It's part of this shared experience, as Dr. Kristen Nelf said. The second thing is watching your negative self-talk. The things we tell ourselves become our reality. Although feeling things bad or negative are important, we can reframe how we speak to ourselves so that when we experience challenges, we're treating ourselves kindly. For example, I recently failed at my first month at Postman, and it was a sort of a public failure on a Slack channel. But instead of me obsessing about it, I reframed my potential negative thoughts, and I said, it's okay. Self-compassion allowed me, and can allow you, to take a step back and just treat yourself kindly. Because having a kind relationship with yourself is often all you got in a noisy world. We can't control the opinions of others, but we can control how we deliver to our full potential. The final important takeaway that I want to leave you here today is celebrate your progress. Pat yourself on the back when you fail or make a mistake, and celebrate your progress and appreciate your progress, that you're doing a great job. And that's really important, because anything worth doing in your career, regardless if you're experienced professional or just starting out, requires you to celebrate your progress and practicing gratitude. anything worth doing requires us to be kind and embracing the opportunity to be self-compassionate when we fail, take bold risks, or charter new territories, because nothing extraordinary will happen in the comfort zone. So being self-compassionate can help us, and it's key to success in any endeavor. So I encourage you to manage your negative self-talk, to develop a growth mindset, to celebrate your progress, and importantly, forgive yourself often when you make a mistake. Thank you so much for your time. I'd love to hear any questions that you have, and we'll take it from there.